for my capstone project, I'm going to show how the pump of a heart works, how the heart works in general, and how it can be disturbed by a pathology where an artery or a vein has some blockage and some resistance to that natural flow of the heart. So first, let's see how a heart works. This is the flow chart of how a heart works, and this is what a heart actually looks like. Let's start with the flow chart. There's a top part of the heart, a bottom part of the heart, a left side of the heart, and a right side of the heart. The top sides are called the atriums. They're responsible for receiving blood. The bottom is the ventricles. They're responsible for pushing blood and pumping it, actually. When you hear the dun-dun, that's what the atriums are, the left and right ventricles. The left side of the heart is for oxygenated blood, and the right side of the heart is for deoxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood is red, deoxygenated blood is blue. Here's where it starts. Oxygenated blood comes from the lungs after being freshly oxygenated and goes into the upper left, which is the left atrium. Then it flows down to the left ventricle, which acts as the pump. It pumps it to the rest of the body through something called the aorta. The aorta sends it all over the body, and it helps the body. It goes to all the cells, oxygen goes to the cells, and the body is refreshed and really just, it helps the body keep going. Then, after the body uses the blood, it's now filled with waste, it's deoxygenated, and so now it's blue. As you can see, it changes from red to blue. So now the deoxygenated, wasted blood is sent from the body, and the body sends it all the way up to the right atrium. Remember, the right side is for wasted blood, deoxygenated blood. It comes in through something called the vena cava. There's a superior and an inferior. It comes into the right atrium, and it drains down to the right ventricle, which is another pump. The right ventricle now has to send it to the lungs because that needs to be recycled. We don't want to throw away blood, we want to reuse it. And to do that, it needs to be oxygenated again. So we pump the deoxygenated blood back to the lungs, and the lungs reoxygenate it, and then it all repeats. It's just like a cycle. Now, here's where it's actually going. So this is just a flow chart. This is what it looks like. This is a diagram of the heart. As you can see, it's pretty much the same. You can see by the highlighting that these are the right atrium. These are the vena cava, the superior and the inferior. This is the right atrium, the right ventricle, and then this is where it's sent to the lungs, that tube right there. And you can see it over here as well. This is where it comes back from the lungs, and it comes into the left atrium, then it goes to the left ventricle, and then it's sent to the aorta, and as you can see, it's sent to the body. So that's how the entire heart works. Now let's show you how the pump of a heart works and how it can be affected by something when something's blocking the tube. Alright, so now we're going to show you how the pump of a heart actually works. Remember, we're talking about these types of pumps here. In this situation, we're going to be showing you how the left ventricle pumps blood to the rest of the body. So that's going to be how here pumps it to the rest of the body. Because it's oxygenated blood, we're going to use red blood, which you can see right here. And this is going to simulate the path to the body, which is the aorta. And this is going to simulate the left ventricle. This is going to be our body. So, a normally working pump, which is what we're showing here with the aorta, will simply use compliance to expand and then contract, and it will use that pressure difference to push the blood through the actual valve, which is the aorta, into the body. So it's using that compliance and that pressure difference to create a flow through the body, which are concepts that I learned in my physiological course. So here we go. As you can see, it pumps easily into the body, and we got that blood right there in the body. So that's how it pumps. As you noticed when I pumped it, simulating the pump of the heart, it was easy to push through. But now that we understand how a healthy pump works, sending it to the body, we're going to look at how an unhealthy pump works when it's the right ventricle sending deoxygenated blood to the lungs when there's something blocking that valve. Alright, so now we're going to show you, instead of the left ventricle, a healthy pump sending blood through the aorta to the body. We're going to show you the right ventricle, an unhealthy pump, which we're going to simulate by doing this, sending deoxygenated blood through the pulmonary artery to the lungs. So when this is our pathology. When there is a blockage in the artery or the vein, it causes the pump to have to pump harder and less to get over to the lungs or wherever the blood is going. And in the heart diagram, that would be this pumping and this going to the lungs. So let's show it. I got some deoxygenated blue blood here, which I'm going to take, and this is going to simulate the pathology of something blocking it. We have a little clot, you could say, of paper towel in here, and this is going to simulate our lungs. So the big difference here is, instead of being able to push easily like I did with the left ventricle through the aorta to the body, it's going to show a bit of resistance and it's not going to get as much. So as you can see, instead of flowing easily, I have to push much harder to even get some over there, and it's so much harder to get some actually into the lungs. So that's going to show how it's going to affect somebody. Somebody's going to have to pump much harder and they're going to have shortness of breath. It's going to take much more energy. And as you can see, it makes a mess, just like it will in the body. So that's really showing the pathology. Yeah.